Hello, it's Erica from blacksandperiodfilms.com, and today is day 10 of our Write It series for Black History Month. Today, we're talking about Notes from a Colored Girl, the Civil War Pocket Diaries of Emilie Frances Davis, by Professor Karsonya Whitehead. In Notes from a Colored Girl, we read the life and experiences of Emilie Frances Davis, a freeborn 21-year-old mixed-race woman in Philadelphia, through a close read of her 3 pocket diaries that she kept from 1863 to 1865. Author and Professor Karsonya Whitehead takes Emilie's diary entries and examines them in a way to offer the reader insight into the social, racial, and gender politics that were occurring as Emilie was living her day-to-day life. As a history buff, it was amazing to read these words because she's an everyday free woman of color. She wasn't famous. She isn't particularly well known. We don't have any images of her. But through her diaries, we learn about her family and friends. We learn about what blacks in the North experienced during the last few years of the Civil War. And we learn, which was encouraging to me, that many of them just led regular lives like we live. Oftentimes in films and series, black and mixed race characters are used as a representation for the entire black or mixed race experience. And doing that in films and series ultimately flattens and dehumanizes the characters, and the audience never get a full view of the character and their emotions. They become a symbol of the bad that has occurred through history. They're not a person within themselves. But her pocket diaries are amazing because they humanize a section of the population that often has their individual experiences flattened or erased. And it was very interesting, and I took some notes because just everyday things she wrote about. For example, she talks about she enjoys going to lectures, and she went to many lectures by Frederick Douglass. She talks about visiting and taking care of black soldiers that were fighting in the Civil War. Because of her profession as a dressmaker, she also talks a lot about fashion. And many people see that as something that's trivial, but to me that was very nice to know that while things were going on that were not the best for her politically or socially, she was still able to enjoy day-to-day life things like a beautiful bonnet. She enjoys visiting her friends, which she does a lot. She's very social. She goes out on town, visits her friends, and it's funny because if it rained, she was upset because she had to stay inside. She could not go out. Interestingly enough, she had drama with her friends. She had dating trouble. She just was a regular person, but so many times in films taking place during this time period, we don't get to see that with black and mixed race characters. So reading this was very pleasant because it came from her. Professor Whitehead transforms the quote by Rene Descartes, "I think, therefore I am," and she changed it to "I write, therefore I exist, and feel, and therefore I am." And that's exactly what happened with Emilie Davis. She was writing for herself and never knew that a century later, all sorts of people, a free black girl like me that never experienced slavery, would be reading her words about her life. Without knowing it, she cemented a place for herself in history. And so while her experiences are ordinary in everyday life, bonnets, drama with friends, going to lectures, French lessons, while that's ordinary, because this is a singular experience of a free woman of color that did not come from a prominent family, that makes her experience extraordinary. We get the insight of a person's life that was pure. She wasn't writing this for a publisher. She was writing this for herself. And that's just simply amazing, getting her experience. Her life and experiences during these 3 years would provide great material for a period romance. Someone should write it.